People who jump from one relationship to another usually avoid these 7 difficult truths. Jumping from one relationship to another can feel like a way to avoid loneliness, but it often masks deeper issues that need to be addressed. Some people believe that starting fresh with someone new will solve their problems, but they may just be avoiding difficult truths about themselves, their patterns, and what they truly need to find lasting happiness. If you've ever found yourself moving from one relationship to the next without really understanding why, this is the moment to take a step back and reflect. In this video, we'll dive into 7 uncomfortable realities that people who bounce from relationship to relationship often avoid facing. Understanding these truths is essential for breaking the cycle and building a healthier foundation for future connections. These insights might just be the key to unlocking more meaningful and lasting relationships. 1. Fear of being alone. This is one of the most prevalent truths that serial daters tend to dodge. People who jump from one relationship to another often have an underlying fear of being alone. It's a daunting prospect, and the comfort of another person can seem like the perfect distraction. But here's the kicker. This fear often leads to settling for less than what they deserve or want. Instead of taking time to understand their own needs and desires, they're already into the next relationship. Serial dating can be a band-aid solution for loneliness, but it often avoids the root issue. Confronting this fear can be a vital first step towards healthier relationships and personal growth. It's okay to be single. Use this time to learn about yourself, your needs, and what you truly want in a relationship. 2. Inability to self-reflect. This is a hard one, and I tell you this from personal experience. I used to be a serial dater, jumping from relationship to relationship. I thought the problem was always with the other person. They were either not understanding enough, not giving enough, or simply not the right one for me. But over time, I realized that the common denominator in all these failed relationships was me. It wasn't the easiest pill to swallow, but it was necessary for my personal growth. Serial daters often avoid self-reflection. They don't want to admit that they might be the problem. And trust me, it's a challenging truth to face. But the moment I started looking inward, acknowledging my flaws, and working on them, my relationships began to improve. It wasn't overnight, but with time and effort, I became a better partner. 3. Fear of commitment. Fear of commitment is more common than you might think. It's not solely a trait of serial daters, but it's often a significant factor in their dating patterns. A study by the Pew Research Center found that 25% of millennials may never get married. While societal changes, such as shifting cultural attitudes and economic challenges, play a significant role, personal fears and hesitations about long-term commitment may also contribute. People who consistently jump from one relationship to another might be avoiding the responsibility and depth that comes with a committed relationship. It's easier to leave when things get tough than to buckle down and work through the issues. Commitment can be daunting, but it's also where the most profound connections and growth happen in a relationship. 4. Avoidance of personal growth. Personal growth often comes from challenging situations. And let's be honest, relationships can present some of the most challenging situations out there. Serial daters might be avoiding these challenges and therefore missing out on significant opportunities for personal growth. Jumping from one relationship to another allows them to escape the discomfort that comes with personal development. Instead of growing through conflicts and learning from their mistakes, they opt for a fresh start with a new partner. But here's the thing. Escaping these challenges only leads to repetitive patterns in relationships. Taking the time to grow from each relationship can lead to healthier patterns and more fulfilling relationships in the future. 5. Difficulty in setting boundaries. I've always struggled with setting boundaries in my relationships. For the longest time, I didn't even realize that was what I was doing. I thought I was just being accommodating, but in reality, I was letting people walk all over me. When we don't set boundaries, we allow others to dictate the terms of our relationships, often leading to dissatisfaction and resentment. I found myself jumping from one relationship to another, hoping for a different outcome each time. But it wasn't until I learned to assert my needs and set boundaries that my relationships started to improve. As explained in an article from Stanford University, boundaries are essential for fostering safety, respect, and emotional well-being in relationships. Without them, we risk compromising our own needs for the sake of others' comfort. If you're a serial dater, it may be worth examining your boundary-setting skills. Are you clear about what you want and what you won't tolerate? Establishing boundaries can make a significant difference in the quality of your relationships. 6. Discomfort with vulnerability. Vulnerability is an essential part of deep, meaningful relationships. It means opening up, sharing your deepest thoughts and feelings, and trusting the other person with them. However, for those bouncing from one relationship to another, vulnerability can be a scary concept. For them, it's easier to keep things on the surface level, rather than digging deep and getting emotionally intimate. This avoidance often stems from a fear of getting hurt, but without vulnerability, relationships lack depth and emotional connection. 7. Unresolved past issues. This is a big one, and arguably the most important. People who constantly jump from one relationship to another often carry unresolved issues from their past relationships, or even deeper-seated issues from their childhood. These unresolved issues can manifest in various ways, such as trust issues, insecurity, or fear of abandonment. These can wreak havoc in relationships, leading to a cycle of breakups and new relationships. The first step in breaking this cycle is acknowledging these issues. Therapy or counseling can be incredibly helpful in this process. Once these past issues are addressed, one can start building healthier relationships based on understanding and mutual respect. Final thoughts. It's about self-discovery. Our behaviors, choices, and patterns, particularly in relationships, are often reflections of our inner state and personal history. For those who frequently jump from one relationship to another, it may be a way to avoid confronting difficult truths. The points mentioned in this video aren't meant to discourage or intimidate you. They're intended to serve as signposts, guiding you towards self-discovery and growth. Carl Jung, a renowned psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This speaks volumes in the context of serial dating. Unresolved issues, fear of commitment or vulnerability, inability to set boundaries. These are all part of our unconscious behavioral patterns. Recognizing and acknowledging them is the first step towards breaking the cycle. Each relationship is an opportunity for self-discovery and growth. So rather than jumping into the next relationship, consider taking a pause. Reflect on these truths, embrace them, learn from them. It's not an easy journey, but the destination is worth it. Healthier relationships and a better understanding of oneself.